I am joined by Chorley FC Assistant Manager and Youth Development Lead, Andy Preece. Andy, thanks for taking the time to chat with me.
No worries, Ollie.
If we could start with a summary of last season, Chorley FC's first season in Tier 5 for 30 years. What was it like for yourself and the team to be competing at that level, and what were your main challenges?
Firstly, it was a great opportunity for us to play at the highest level that the football club had played at. We knew it would be difficult, probably not as difficult as it turned out to be. I think the difference was being full-time. I think it just gives such a big advantage to the other teams preparing for games, especially when we played in midweek. We didn't have time to prepare for those games, so we weren't far away in a lot of games, but I think the final reason why we didn't do better was that we were competing against full-time teams.
Whilst last season will never be forgotten for all the wrong reasons, namely COVID-19 and relegation, there must have been still some high points in what was a difficult season. For me, the atmosphere at Faldaway, the victory here against Stockport, and the win away at Chesterfield stand out. What were your personal highlights?
Yeah, look, there wasn't too many, so you've probably covered most of them. Yeah, I think that win against Chesterfield, to go to a big club like Chesterfield and play the way we did, we played some great football. Also the performance in the first 25 minutes at Barrow, where we went 2-0 up, and we were exceptional in that 25 minutes against a team that won the league. So it just showed, in moments we could do it, but we just weren't consistent enough over the season to stay up.
So on to this season now. Ultimately, we find ourselves back in the National League North, a division we know well. How difficult has it been for Chorley FC, both on and off the field, during the extended closed season, in relation to the loss of income and player contracts?
Well, that's the biggest uncertainty that we've got is, although the season is set to start on October the 3rd, we're not 100% certain how that will start and whether there'll be crowds or whether there will be reduced crowds. So it's very hard to plan, and I think everybody's in the same position. So at the minute it's very hard planning. That plan keeps changing week by week, day by day, as we hear something new. So you've just got to adjust and change your schedules, change your targets, change your budget, and everybody's in the same position.
It would appear that we'll be kicking off with that, which will be a lot of a largely new team, a switch to a new hybrid model and a greater focus on the youth setup. Could you first talk me through the hybrid approach and what this means for the club and the youth setup?
Yeah, what we're looking to do is probably learn from what happened last season in the conference, national, that full-time model. We've got to be looking to go towards that way if we get promoted again. So we're starting this season by training 3 times a week, on a Monday, a Tuesday and a Thursday. So that will give us an advantage in the league we're in, but it also give us that way of bridging the gap between full-time and part-time for next season. So the players that we're signing are young players who want to be professional footballers, who want to train full-time, and that's a change from what we've done previously, where most of the players that we've had have been more non-league players who work. So it is quite a big change. We'll have to see how that goes this season, but it's something we're passionate about, bringing through young players through the pathway, and hopefully we'll see the rewards of that as the season goes on.
It has been announced this week that Alex Newby has signed a professional contract with League One Rochdale. What was Alex like as a player, and do you feel that players being signed by league clubs after playing for Chorley will help get other young ambitious players to join the club?
I think so. We're talking about the pathway, and Alex is one of those players who we signed as a young player who was hungry, who wanted to be a professional footballer. He had a spell out on loan, and then came back. And then when he came back, he's been superb throughout. Scoring some unbelievable goals. His work rate is phenomenal, and he's worked on his defensive side of his game as well. So he's become more of a complete player at Chorley, and I'm sure that he'll go on and do really well at Rochdale. He deserves that for all the hard work he puts in. You know, he was one who was always working on the days off he'd always be out training or in the gym. So he's got his rewards, and hopefully with the pathway we're putting in place now, be a few more Alex Newbys to come. But really we want them to come and stay with us and take us into the Football League.
June and July saw several new faces and crucially the return of some familiar ones. How important was it to retain the services of what you and Jamie must have considered the core of the squad, and how difficult it was to let players such as Andy T go?
Yeah, it was really tough to change what we're doing. There was always going to be some players that couldn't do the hybrid model. But it's something that we felt to move forward we needed to do. You know, the Teague decision was more of one that was like a mutual decision. You know, he was a phenomenal leader. You know, he was Chorley FC, fantastic example. And it's tough to see someone like that leave. You know, it's tough for him to leave, and it was tough for us to let him go. So yeah, there were some really difficult decisions to be made, but when you're changing things, that's always going to be the case. Fortunately, we've kept 4 of the squad from last season, so you know, they're the ones who will lead us forward and help the new ones settle in and take us forward.
If you could talk us through the new players the club have brought in, had you been tracking these guys for a while, and what do you feel they will bring to the club?
Yeah, there's a number of the players that we've watched for 3 or 4 years, possible loans at times, and now they've become available full time. You know, we had Harry Cardwell on loan last season, only for 25 minutes, but he was outstanding. So you know, we kept an eye on him. He came available, enjoyed his time at Chorley, so you know, that was a big signing for us. Other players, you know, we've known have been at league clubs, still only in their early 20s. Played a few games for their league clubs at Crewe. Lewis has played you know, about 10 games, scored in the first team at Crewe. So players like that are the sort of players that could take us up to the next level, and hopefully we can help those players develop as well, like we did with Alex.
Currently pre-season is underway, and as we have heard, that we hope we will have a fantastic season starting hopefully early October, potentially with an FA Cup tie. What are Chorley FC's ambitions for this season, and what can the supporters expect to see out on the field?
The only thing we're looking at is trying to win the league. You know, that has to be the aim. That was the aim when we were in the league 2 seasons ago. We fell a little bit short in coming runners up, but you have to set your sights high, and that's where we want to be. I think what they'll see, you know, is a young, energetic side trying to play the same sort of brand of football that we played when we got promoted. So that there shouldn't be too much change, but obviously it's exciting when you've got young players and new players to watch, and I'm sure the fans are looking forward to it as much as what we are.
Andy, once again for speaking to me, and good luck in the coming season.
Thanks, Ollie.